On this week's edition of The Overtime, we take a look on the football field at both NAU and Flag High as they make their playoff push. Then, we will move to the courts and get a volleyball update. Finally, NAU Women's Soccer celebrated their seniors at the last home game of the season. All that and more on this edition of The Overtime. Hello and welcome to The Overtime, Northern Arizona's only sports show. I'm your host, Connor Emery, and today I am joined by my co-host, Reese Clark, who is actually making her TV debut. Reese, how are you feeling today?
Thanks, Connor. I'm feeling great. I'm really excited to be here today. We have a ton of content to share, so let's get into it.
It was homecoming last week for NAU football, and the Lumberjacks took on the Idaho State Bengals in a crucial matchup for playoff hopes.
I attended this game and brought my parents along with me. It was their first NAU football experience, and all I can say is it had us at the edge of our seats. Now to Giselle Contreras to talk more about the game.
Thank you, Reese. It was definitely exciting at the Sky Dome. I had a chance to catch up with Coach Wright and the players after the game. The NAU football team took down Idaho State 30-26 at the Sky Dome on Saturday. Cornerback DJ Van Hook sealed the win with a late interception. He attributed the successful play to his coaches and teammates.
Trusting in my coach, Coach Brown, in our technique, he tell us when we in that type of zone, 60-40. So we want to bait the outside throw, and that's what I did, baited the outside throw and just made a play.
Offensively, Seth Cromwell helped the team to victory with 55 yards on 14 carries and 2 rushing touchdowns, but he says he couldn't have done it without help from the offensive line.
The backside was there, trusting my lineman, telling them, I trust y'all with my life, so I'm running for my life. So I just trust them, and it was really the backside, and then on those plays that we had, the dual plays, was seeing what I see and reading the backside.
The Lumberjacks are currently 4-4 overall and 2-2 in conference play with only 4 games left in the regular season. Coach Wright says that in order to build a winning program, they must have success in all 4 quarters.
Building this team and building a championship program, you have to learn how to win football games like that, and really proud of how our guys battled through that. Again, took on a lot of adversity and came out in the end.
Giselle Contreras, NAZ Sports. That was such an exciting game against Idaho State for DJ Van Hook, Seth Cromwell, and head coach Brian Wright. I'm looking forward to seeing this next game against Weber State. Now back to you guys on the desk.
Thanks, Giselle. Wow. Talking about an amazing ending to an incredible football game. The defense definitely played a huge part, including getting that last-second interception to get the victory.
I cannot agree more. The Lumberjack defense has been having a great season so far this year. I look forward to see how they round out their season.
The NAU Lumberjacks will enjoy their bye week before facing the Weber State Wildcats November 2nd at the Sky Dome.
While we're on the topic of football, I know that the Flagstaff Eagles have been having a successful season so far and only have a few games left before playoffs start.
Sports reporter Brian Adams is in the studio to tell us more about how the season is going for Flag High football.
Thank you, Connor. Last week I went out to the Flag High versus Prescott football game to take a look at 2 of the top teams in the Grand Canyon region go head-to-head.
Flagstaff Eagles football team fell to 5-2 after a 30-3 loss to the Prescott Badgers at the J. Lawrence Walkup Sky Dome this past week. The Eagles kept the game close in the first half, going into halftime only down 7-3. But after a quick Prescott touchdown out of the half, the game slipped away from Flagstaff. Coming into the game, both teams were 5-1 and were 2 of the top teams in the Grand Canyon region. Eagles coach Mickey Clements knew this would not be an easy game, but even after the loss, he is proud with how his team stayed together.
Our players played hard. I love these guys. The coaches are doing a great job with them, but the most important, I saw the players really rallying around each other and showing a lot of love for each other, so that was good to see.
Prescott was led by talented senior quarterback Uriah Tennett. His ability through the air and on the ground made him and the Prescott offense a struggle to deal with defensively for the Eagles.
A dynamic quarterback, he's really hard to track down, and he started making some good throws and just finding space and time. That's one thing that offense does more than just about any other offense I saw. They create those long plays, and so most football teams are looking at 4 or 5 second plays, and Prescott's offense put some big long plays out there and make you work hard.
The Eagles were not able to get much going on the offensive side of the ball, finishing the game with only 226 all-purpose offensive yards, with 135 of them coming in the running game. 115 of those rushing yards came from senior running back Jaden Wetzel, who was a bright spot in the offense. But Clements is confident his passing offense will be able to figure it out after a few mistakes during the game.
We were really close on offense. We had open receivers, good throws, and then just had a little trouble catching the ball on some of those big plays. It was not just one guy either, it was multiple receivers. So I think those guys are going to take it to heart and bounce back really well.
Flagstaff will look to rebound on Friday when they travel to Kingman to play the 1-6 Lee Williams Volunteers. Brian Adams, NAZ Sports.
It's always a pleasure to cover some of the best football in the region. I'll be interested to see how Flagstaff bounces back this week at Kingman. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Brian. It's always great when we get an update from the local high school sports, especially when it's near the end of the season.
The Eagles are currently sitting in third in the 4A Grand Canyon section standings and have just 3 regular season games left. I'm curious to see how these standings hold after these games.
Quarterback Chase Brown and running back Jaden Wetzel are having a phenomenal season thus far and will continue to shine as the Eagles will be on the road this weekend to take on Lee Williams.
That's right, Connor. The Eagles are set to take on Lee Williams, who are currently sitting in that 6th place spot and hold a 1-6 record. We'll see if Brown and Wetzel can lead the Eagles to some points on the road. We're going to take a quick break, but stick around and find out about how the NAU women's volleyball team's match went over the weekend.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
See, Smokey thinks I'm funny.
Welcome back. The NAU women's volleyball team has been recently gaining momentum after a 5-game losing streak.
Sports reporter Aiden Ott and I were at the Rural Activity Center Saturday night, and it did not disappoint as the arena was packed with loud fans. The NAU women's volleyball team took the court Saturday night on homecoming weekend to face the Montana State Bobcats, looking to avenge their loss from last month. The Lumberjacks picked up their first conference win early in the week and looked to keep the momentum going. Even though the NAU football game ended about an hour before the volleyball game, the fans made their way to the Rural Activity Center to show their support. Head coach Ken Murphy expressed his gratitude to the fans for coming out.
It's always fun. It's fun playing on football homecoming night too. I mean, there's a lot of people here. There's great energy. I think and the one thing about our team is they love being Lumberjacks. They love being at NAU and representing us on a weekend like this.
The Lumberjacks put up a fight with the Bobcats where most points lasted for a while in every set. The team finished with 100 digs, which is only the second time they have done that this season. Redshirt freshman Gigi Greenlee led the team with a season-high 16 kills, helping the Lumberjacks to a 3-1 set victory.
Obviously, getting Gigi in the lineup helps with a lot of kills, and she's a really physical player. But it's just something we've been working on. We've been really grinding at it for the last 3 or 4 weeks, getting more kills in matches, and I thought some things have started to come together the last few weeks, or last week or so, but you really saw it tonight.
Despite the Lumberjacks losing the first set 28-26, the team still had high hopes and were all smiles throughout the game. The team now has a .500 record and look to keep the winning streak going when they go on the road this week.
Right now, what we really like to focus on is this week was this week. We keep building on it. We have a lot of momentum going forward. However, we look at all the teams, all the games that we have coming up. We prepare every week. We know what we have to do in practice, and that's what keeps us moving forward.
Connor Emery, NAZ Sports. Aiden and I had a great time covering the event, and it seemed the fans did as well, Reese.
I was there at the game as well, doing some social media work, and the crowd really was electric. It was great to see. The Jacks will travel to Eastern Washington to face off against the Eagles for their next match on Saturday at noon.
Now moving over to high school, the Coconino High School volleyball team continues to dominate as they approach the postseason.
Not only are the Panthers killing it on the court, but they are making memories that will last them a lifetime. They hosted the Mojave Thunderbirds Monday night and celebrated their senior night. Sports reporter Alyssa Munoz went to the game to capture all the emotions.
It was an emotional, yet joyful Monday night at Coconino High School as the Panthers celebrated their 6 graduating seniors. The team took on the Mojave Thunderbirds at their home court and defeated them in 3 straight sets. Head coach Lacey Ebersole was filled with pride as she spoke lovingly about her senior players.
You know, they're all really great girls. They bring a lot of positivity, and they've been in the program for 4 years, and they have more experience, and you know, they're just really good at leading the rest of their young teammates.
Monday's match was more than just about winning for the Panthers. It was about the seniors cherishing their time on the court together.
I just wanted to tell them that I love all of them, and I have enjoyed playing with all of them for the past 4 years.
The seniors are stepping off the court with lessons that can be applied beyond volleyball.
Just no regrets. Every game, go out there, give it your all, just leave everything you have out there, and when you leave, as long as you have no regrets, there's nothing that you can, you know, have negative thoughts about.
The Panthers hold a 9-6 record and are currently ranked 22nd in the 4A conference. Senior Laurel Cernahouse has only a short amount of time left as a Panther, and she has hopes for one last win on her home court.
My biggest goal is to beat Flag High, so our rival, and so that's what I'm hoping to accomplish, because 4 years we haven't beat them, so it'd really be a cool thing if we did.
Coconino is right on the edge of a playoff spot and will host crosstown rival Flagstaff High School for their final home match before the postseason. The Flagstaff Eagles are 14-0 and ranked 2nd in the conference. The game will take place on Monday, October 28th at 6 p.m. Alyssa Munoz, NAZ Sports.
You can tell this Coconino team is made for success because of their chemistry and a great head coach.
I cannot agree more. I mean, as an athlete myself, I think it's so important to have a coach who cares not only about the team's success, but their outside lives as well. The Panthers will host the Flagstaff High School Eagles for their next match on Monday, October 28th at 6 p.m.
A rivalry match is always fun to watch, especially with these two high schools. We will be taking another break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll look how the NAU women's soccer did at their final home game of the regular season.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time,
which can be really dangerous.
He's here. He's here.
Wait. What?
I can't drive.
Why?
My.
Oh.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right?
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Welcome back. Connor, I heard that over the weekend the NAU women's soccer team had their senior night and hosted Sacramento State.
You are correct, Reese. There were many seniors on the team that were recognized and played their final home game as a Lumberjack.
Sports reporter Aishea Tananka went to the game to learn more about the result and where this leaves the Lumberjacks in their season.
This Sunday, the NAU women's soccer team played in their last home game of the season against the Sacramento State Hornets. Though the Lumberjacks started strong by scoring the first goal just 3 minutes in, the match ended in a 1-1 tie. Head coach Alan Barrios reflected on the emotions shared celebrating the seniors on the team.
It's always an emotional game, right, for the seniors. I mean, we have 11 seniors, playing their last ever game here at Lumberjack Stadium.
One of the standout seniors is goalie Trinity Corcoran. Barrios appreciates her consistency and hard work put into the team throughout the years.
She's been solid for 4 years. I mean, think about that, right? So she's been a key piece to the puzzle. She helped us win a couple championships a couple years ago, and she's continuing to do what she does, right?
With the regular season winding down, Barrios acknowledges the team's need for improvement in their offensive unit as they push to secure a place in the Big Sky Conference tournament.
Yeah, I think we have to be a little more dynamic, a little more hungry in the box and aggressive in the box, and that's been the key for 2 weeks now.
The Lumberjacks will finish the regular season at Idaho State on Sunday. Aishaya Tanaka, NAZ Sports.
The Lumberjacks are currently fighting for a spot in the Big Sky Conference tournament with only 2 games left to secure their seat. The team is in Idaho for the weekend to play Weber State tonight at 6 p.m. and Idaho State on Sunday at 1 p.m. I'm curious to see if the Jacks can leave the weekend with a crucial win.
This is a huge weekend for the Lumberjacks as they currently sit in 6th place in their conference. They would need to stay in the top 6 of the Big Sky standings in order to qualify for the Big Sky tournament in Missoula, Montana.
Well, that's all we have for you tonight. Thank you all for joining us for this edition of The Overtime.
I would like to thank our sports reporters, Brian Adams, Alyssa Munoz, Giselle Contreras, and Aishaya Tanaka. I'd also like to thank my co-host, Reese Clark. I'm Connor Emery, and we'll see you next Friday for the next edition of The Overtime.